All right, what's up, everybody? I'm going to show you a couple of my latest games, and they've been exciting. So this game right here was my very first game above 1200. I was rated 1201 when I played it. So yeah, let's dive into it. All right, so in this game, hope you can see everything okay. I'm trying this new setup for the second time now. I played Brian, and Brian, let's see, start review. So I started with my normal King's Pawn opening. Can't quite see what Brian is ranked or what Brian's country is. But ended up with like a pretty poor showing as far as the accuracy goes, 68% to his 59%, mostly because of this one move. As you can see, it's constantly there that he had that he never took, which was to kind of attack in the middle. And we both kind of screwed that up, but ended up coming through and winning in kind of a interesting ending. So let me show you what that ended up looking like. All right. So he comes in, I think this is called the Sicilian defense, and what I wanted to do is just develop normally. Sometimes I've tried to do different types of things, but I've noticed with myself at this, especially at this rating level, is I just want to get my pieces out as quickly as possible and get kind of my king safe. And then I've been doing decently, like winning over half my games in the middle and end game, especially when I have a lot of time. So I've been playing these 15-minute games with 10-second increments, so I have plenty of time to think, which is really helpful. So he comes out, he develops his knight. I know to kind of stop the knight there, and if he attacks it, just to take it and then mess up his pawn structure, but he doesn't attack me. I'm assuming that he's going to use this move to break out the next piece, and I just get my king to safety. That's, for me, the most important thing. So he does attack the center. It says that he was supposed to get his knight out, which is always a good idea, but he's going to have a nice center. I decide not to take. Instead, I just protect my pawn and get ready to bring out another piece. That's all I'm trying to do in the beginning, is bring pieces out so they're not going to get stuck. Again, it says that just to take this pawn is better. If I would have taken the pawn, he would have recaptured and then had his king open. So, I mean, that's actually pretty nice. It says I'm up by over a piece there. It says that I'm supposed to, at that point, yeah, put in a check. I would assume he would just block here. And it says that I'm way up there. But that's not what happened in the game. I brought out my pieces just so I could make it survive to the middle game. And he immediately goes to attack this piece right there, and that is a really good move for him and a really tough move for me. I don't want to retreat it. I'd rather kind of keep it there and stare at this long diagonal, make sure he can't castle queenside. So I go ahead and I just bring it back, which is going to be a problem later. He brings out another piece. Now I lost the pin because there I was threatening to take, and he wouldn't have been able to take back if I would have had this piece out. And I would have won a second pawn. But that's not what happened. He brought his piece out. He castled, so now he's safe. And I don't know what to do at this point. So I just started attacking. I remember losing a lot of games where they just had a pawn that was super close to becoming a queen, and it became a big deal for me. So I'm just going to go ahead and just start pushing this piece down, and actually ends up being a smart move because later in the game, he does need to watch out for my queen that could be coming right along this queen side of the board. So I take because he's putting some pressure on my bishop, and that's the whole reason I brought the bishop out anyway, is to kind of take that. Now it's not going to mess up his pawn structure because he can take back with a bishop. But for me, I'm happy. I have all my pieces out, and I have a good chance of at least competing in this game, maybe even winning. I take again. I just kind of want to clean up the middle. He takes back, and now I make a blunder. This is, I think, the first blunder of the game. And the reason why it's a blunder, let's see if it'll show me why. It says I'll end up losing a knight. So he can attack my knight, I attack, and then he has this move pretty much all game where he can push this pawn. I mean, I didn't see it, but he never does push this pawn, but that's pretty much where all of our mistakes go in. You can see all the blunders here on the side of the board. But yeah, he always has this opportunity to push this F pawn 2 up and start putting pressure on these pieces that I placed in front of my king, and he never does it. He's kind of like me, where he doesn't want to move the pieces in front of his king, and I don't blame him, because yeah, it's pretty terrifying to do that. My game rating was 1,000. His was 650, which is really bad for both of us, and mostly just because of this one move where he could always push this pawn 2 pieces up, but he never does. So he's attacking my knight. I have the opportunity to kind of, bring my knight up, or let's see, I can take back with this knight, which is, I think, what I end up doing. So let's see the next move. I have 2 pieces attacking that one piece. He only has 1, and I don't want to use my rook, because rooks are worth more than bishops, and I would have lost my rook in that scenario. But he's probably not going to take back, because that bishop is cutting right across to my king, and so I'll just get that pawn back. All right, so he does the wrong move there. Again, he has this move all game. I won't keep reiterating. And I take back. He has an opportunity to take this piece, but he doesn't end up taking it. I take back his bishop. I know that bishop's extremely strong, cutting across, more strong than my knight. He takes a think on that one for a little bit, ends up taking back, and now is another thing where he just keeps having this opportunity to go in the middle. He attacks my queen. I just step out of the way. Apparently a blunder, and it's the same blunder reasoning that never ends up happening. He does his blunder. Opportunity to take. I took with the wrong piece, it says, again, for the same idea. And he goes to attack. He wanted me to pin my own piece, which I'm a little bit not understanding why it would be good to pin my own piece, but yeah, that's kind of freaky, because he could have just gone up here twice, and then I can't move that piece, otherwise I'll lose my queen. So let's see what happens if he does do that real quick. So I go up, he comes down. Whoa, the eval bar shot way up. Oh, because of the check. So now I have a check that he has to deal with. And if he just gets out of it by going... So you can't take, otherwise I'll come down and checkmate him. Or not checkmate him, because he can block here. So what if he comes up here? Oh, I guess my piece is protected because of the knight. So I get to take that piece. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I liked having my knight sort of in the center of the board, especially because it was protected by the rook. But that's not what happened. I moved out of the way. I protected my own piece. And now he's got an attack here, but I'm never worried about it because I always have this piece to block. So I come up, just do a 1-move attack on his queen, but I also put my knight in a position where it's protected by my pawn chain. And he never has a pawn that can kick me out. So that's a pretty strong piece for him. For always, I try to make sure that if he has a dark colored bishop, that my queen is on a light square. I eventually want to get my rook on a light square, so he's never in threat of any kind of discoveries or pins or anything like that, or forks. So I move up. Basically, I want to move this up one more time and then get my rook on a square that doesn't scare me as much. Obviously, he can't take this piece because it's protected twice. Even once would be fine by my rook and my knight. So he just attacks my my rook, which is fine because I wanted to move it over anyway. So I move it over. I keep it on a dark square just because this is a target for me right now. It's not protected by anybody, so if I can somehow get there, it's a good place to start. And I also noticed that, you know, he can't hit it here. He can't hit it here because of the knight, so he can't really attack it at that position at this point. So I thought it was, for the most part, safe. I continued to attack. I thought that it would be nice to sort of separate the queen and the bishop because, let's see, what was I thinking here? So if he does attack it, I think I had something where I wasn't going to initially take back right away. I know I have an attack here, but then he could skewer me. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that pawn push, but he decides to just move his piece back. I come up because now I'm going to start making an attack. Oh, that's what it was. Yep, exactly. Okay, so if he would have taken me there, let's see, he takes me here, and now I can win that piece back because he has to do something about this rook because he can't stay there, otherwise he'll get checked and lose his piece. So as soon as he takes, I can take back, and then I've won a piece, plus I have this sort of discovery on this piece here. So I thought that was a good move for me at that time. But that's not what ended up happening. He ended up just moving his knight back. I'm not quite sure. He's probably just trying to reroute it over here to get involved with the other side of the board. And I move up. He moves over. And here I am attacking. He cannot take back right away because he has an undefended queen. So I'm allowed to just keep moving this piece forward. Let's see here. All right, so getting back to it, I pushed on the queen, trying to get her out of the way. I knew that this piece is protected from this knight here, so she's going to have to make a decision. And she moves over, which was an inaccuracy. I don't know quite what they were thinking there. But that's what they decided to do. So I had the opportunity here to collect this pawn. I'm not sure why I didn't. It shows I was the best move. Oh, I did do that. Oh, and it's a huge blunder. It looks like the best move for me is to move my bishop to c7. I know that this piece is in trouble. So yeah, so the best move here is to move this piece right there. Now, why is this such a blunder? Well, let's take a look. Show moves in this situation. It doesn't seem that bad. They said that they're up. Oh, they have an extra piece here. Well, how did that happen? So what happens if I just take here? Okay, 4.5. 14. Oh, he has one good move. E2. E2. Okay, what does this do? Interesting. So I would probably have left it and maybe pushed my pawn one more time. Get ready to make a queen. And now he has mate in 2. How crazy is that? Oh, I see now. This piece is vulnerable. Okay, so if I didn't do that and I went here instead to protect this square, which is the vulnerable square, then he has mate in 4. And it starts with check. Let's say I take. And then I think he would just go check. And then I could stop it with that. And then he takes here. I hide. Oh, and then I can't hide anymore. Interesting. Okay, so wrapping up this game, this is how it ended. It ended... Okay, so I took, which was the wrong move, but then he made the best move. I took back, which is what I said I was going to do, and then his only good move, which he doesn't know, is to move right there. I don't think he found that. Yeah, he kind of went to the middle. He attacked a one-move attack on this piece. So my thing here is I'm just probably going to protect this pawn trying to become a queen. It says my best move is to go to F1, so kind of protect this piece right here, which is still a threat. Oh, which is what I did. Okay, good. Now he's going to take there. I didn't realize that that piece was vulnerable because of this pin. But I thought, I'm so close to getting a queen. I don't normally end up in this position, so I move up. And now he's, you know, one move away from losing that piece, and I can protect it by bringing this this rook over. Although he's got a queen, or he's got a threat right there for checkmate. He decides to block with the queen. I notice I'm 2 moves away from a fork on the queen and the rook, so that's what I try to do, although that was an inaccuracy as well. Let's see why that was so bad. Doesn't help or hurt. It says, okay, so he's going to go back. Interesting. So he just has to keep renewing this threat, is all it says, of the checkmate. Okay. Keep moving, and then it says the best move for me was to push the other pawn up, which I wouldn't have seen that. All right, so let's go to the next move here, which is what he decides to do is to kind of renew that threat. However, I'm ready to protect that, and I still have this knight coming in to protect this square, so I can eventually make a queen and he can't stop me. I also am forking this piece, which has been a nuisance the entire time, and if I can get rid of that, then maybe I have even better chances of winning, because the bishops are pretty strong in the endgame on open positions like that. So if we look here and see what the best move would be now, let's see, we're on this move. Let's see. Okay, so I